latest episode of BAM Weekly. That's Boris and Matt Weekly, the show where we chat about some sports, the show where we chat about some entertainment, and then we bring it all together in the end to chat some sports, entertainment. It's another week, and I have a full slate of things to talk about. We're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs. We're going to be talking about the NHL playoffs, even though right now we're in double overtime. We'll see what happens. We'll see if that changes while I record this show. Some quick F1 news. We're going to be talking about the draft lottery in the NBA. And then on the wrestling side, we're going to be talking some ROH and Impact from earlier in the night. And then I'm going to give everyone a recap of where we stand in the best of the Super Juniors tournament 1 week in. I'm your host, and I am Boris Roberto Aguilar, and that's it. No Matt this week. Matt is taking a well-deserved, much-deserved week off here on BAM. He's gone off to the Great White North, and he's doing what he does best, and that's spending some time with his family, which he, unfortunately doesn't get to see each and every single day. So, I'm wishing him an awesome weekend, and he'll be back next week for the AEW 3D review. So there is that to look forward to. So Matt will chat later. And next week, we have a super, super busy week ahead of us. So we did the draft, the draw, for lack of a better term, to see which of the S&ME hosts are going to be hosting the Raw review. I'm not going to give away the results on this show, but you'll be able to watch the YouTube video as we simulated a WWE 2K23 Royal Rumble with characters that look exactly like us, and that was honestly a lot of fun. So that should be out on YouTube later on Friday. Maybe even by the time that you're listening to this show, it will already be out. So there's that to look forward to. On the weekend, doing my thing, planning the Sunday show, and it's one of the things that we will be doing for sure on Sunday is a tribute to the life of superstar Billy Graham. You'll see. It's gonna be cool. Have a interview in the middle of the show, with and we're gonna be talking the life and times of superstar Billy Graham, and getting your feedback. So if you want to be part of the show, just send me a direct message on Facebook Messenger, and you can just flag me, find me on social media, or the Facebook group, and just send me an audio. Doesn't need to be long. Introduce yourself. Can be 30 seconds, a minute. Doesn't need to be super long. Doesn't need to be a whole on monologue or anything like that, but just a quick memory, why he was special to you, what you thought of him that first time you saw him, something of the like. So I'm going to be compiling those, and I'm going to be airing those on Sunday throughout the entire show. So this Sunday on the flagship show, there will be a tribute to superstar Billy Graham. And then, we have everything else that we always do, including Chris Van Vliet. And we're going to be talking, more about the entertainment business and how the entertainment business kind of overlaps with the wrestling business. So that's going to be a fun little interview segment that I always have with Chris Van Vliet. What else is going on here in the life of Boris? Honestly, it's been such a busy few weeks. My day job, my shoot job, as we like to call it here, it's been so busy. It's been just crazy the past few months. I've been, this week alone, this is obviously Thursday night. By this point, I've had so many meetings. I've sat in this chair that I'm sitting on right now recording this show for so long that it's tiring at this point, man. It's been just the sheer amount of meetings that's been getting me. So I just can't wait for the weekend. It is a long weekend here in Canada. It is May 2-4, as the kids like to call it, or Victoria Day. So off on Monday. And I'm hoping to do some stuff with some friends. Actually, most likely going to see my best friend who's moved way up north at some point on the weekend. So I'm really looking forward to that. Most likely visiting him. And Really looking forward to just some family time, some downtime, because next week here on SNME, it's going to be super busy because we have all the pay-per-views next weekend starting next Saturday. It is WWE Night of Champions. We're going to be doing an aftercast for that show, and it's going to be your Smack Daddies doing that aftercast on Sunday. We have 2 pay-per-views. We have AEW Double or Nothing. Matt and I are going to be covering that as a live after party shortly after the pay-per-view concludes. So remember, everyone can watch this show. The show is absolutely free to watch. You can watch it through YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. To participate in the show, you'll need to be a Patreon member. And to be a Patreon member, you just go to patreon.com/SNME radio. And for just $5 a month, you'll be able to join, get every show we produce, get the extended version of the flagship show, which, they've been about at least an hour 20, an hour 30, because we have what I'm calling the post-credit scene, which is just more random wrestling chatter. We talk about Impact, we talk about New Japan. We've been toying with the promos of the week. That's a nice little thing that Matt's been doing. So we just like to have fun with the post-credit scene and just giving the patrons a little something, because that's, what Jason did. That's what Jason did for the longest time, and it's something that I felt needed to come back. So we have the post-credit scene after the flagship show. As a patron member, you'll get that. You'll get all the shows we produce, and the nicest perk is that, for the live after parties, which we try to do for all the major WWE and AEW pay-per-views, if they're not in the middle of the afternoon, you'll get a special link, and the link is only used if you want to participate in the show. But everyone else, it doesn't matter if you're a patron or not, you'll be able to watch the show on the Sunday Night's Main Event social channels, specifically Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So that's going to be happening for AEW Double or Nothing, and that's going to be Matt and myself. And then next Sunday night, at the same time as Double or Nothing, just remember, there is a NXT pay-per-view happening. So Matt and I are going to be doing a special episode of NXT Talk for that show. But that's not going to be coming out until at some point Monday, because we'll be very busy watching, covering, talking about Double or Nothing. So we're not even going to touch the NXT show until Monday. So that's the plan for next weekend. And I think I've been babbling more than enough to so we can actually get into the business and the matter of this show. So let's talk about the NBA draft. The draft lottery happened earlier this week, and the draft itself is going to be happening on Thursday, June 22nd. And with the number 1 pick, it's going to be San Antonio. San Antonio got the elusive pick, or as a lot of people like to call it, the Wembayamba pick. So we're going to see, if they're going to pick him. I'm going to be shocked if they don't. I'm going to be shocked if they don't actually choose him. So that's San Antonio with the number 1 pick. Good on them. They've lucked out with big men and number 1 picks. So the trend continues here. Number 1, San Antonio. Number 2, Charlotte. Number 3, Portland. Number 4, Houston. Number 5, Detroit. Number 6, Orlando. Number 7, Indiana. Number 8, Washington. Number 9, Utah. We have at number 10, Dallas. Number 11, it's Orlando, but that's coming from Chicago. Number 12, Oklahoma City. Number 13 is Toronto. And number 14 is New Orleans. There you go. Those are the top 14 picks. And, we'll see what happens. Remember, the draft is going to be happening on Thursday, June 22nd. Moving on to the NBA playoffs. We are in the Final Four of the NBA playoffs, the conference finals. And what a fun conference finals it's being. Man, Joker, he is just teeing off against the Lakers. Game 1, He just made LeBron and Anthony Davis look like fools. And game 2 was a little more competitive, but the series right now is 2-0 for the Denver Nuggets. Absolutely crazy. Really, really fun series. And, I'm a Lakers guy. I am full on a Lakers guy. But I do think that this year belongs to the Denver Nuggets, not only to beat the Lakers, but to move on and win the chip. I think this is the year for the Denver Nuggets. So we have that. And then game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Heat and the Celtics. The Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics happened yesterday. Wednesday, I guess, at this point. And the Heat won 123-116. So, we'll see what's going on there. Jimmy Butler with 35 points in that game. These are Butler's numbers from that game. 35 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds in 43 minutes. Kevin Love, 8 points in 16 minutes. Adebayo had 20 points in 37 minutes with 5 assists and 8 rebounds. And then you had Gabe Vincent, Max Struss, Caleb Martin, and Kyle Lowry, all with 15 points. So that was game 1. Miami taking game 1, 123-116 over the Boston Celtics. Go Miami. Go Denver. And then in the finals, I think it's going to be Denver. But we'll see what's happening. We'll see if that comes to fruition, as they say. Moving on to the NHL playoffs. The NHL playoffs, the conference finals just started tonight. And look, I know a lot of people are angry with the NHL right now. The way that the draft lottery went down and the final 4 picks, right? I know that people would have just gone completely insane if it was to be the Golden Knights versus the Kraken. I understand that. I really do understand why people would be upset. And then on the other side, you have the Hurricanes versus the Panthers. Again, I understand why you would be upset. But at the end of the day, this is what it comes down to. Be competitive. There's a lot of teams, especially the original 6, who just aren't competitive at all right now. Be competitive. Find what you have to do to be competitive, and you won't be pissed off come late May, early June. So we'll see. I don't know. I understand the anger. I fully understand the anger with Stars, Golden Knights, Panthers, and Hurricanes. I really do. But be competitive. Tell your GMs, yell at your GMs if you have to. I don't know what you have to do, but it just sucks though, right? I get it, but here we are. Gary Bettman's NHL. Before we talk about the actual conference finals, what the hell is going on in Tempe, Arizona? It's like Gary Bettman just refuses to give up. He refuses this crazy dream. He refuses to say he was wrong. He refuses to say this is a failed experiment. So they are going to try yet again to make a deal for a new arena out in Arizona for the Coyotes. Honestly, at what point is Gary Bettman just going to give up and move on and move the team to a city that can actually support an NHL team? So again, fully understand the anger that's going on. But this is the NHL, right? Remember, Gary Bettman doesn't work for the fans. Gary Bettman works for the owners of the teams. And the owners of the teams are after one thing and one thing only, and that is the good old dollar. So, what's happening right now in the conference finals? The Western Conference Finals begins on Friday evening at 8:30 p.m., and that's the Stars versus the Golden Knights. And right now, live, as I'm talking, it is still 2-2 at the end of the second overtime for the Panthers and the Hurricanes. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep an eye on this score and see if you get the live reaction of a win or see what's going on. Let's move on to some F1 news. So the big news here is that the race in Italy was supposed to be this weekend, and that's not happening because of extreme flooding. So the Formula One has canceled the next event of the season at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix in Imola, Italy. It's been called off because of extreme flooding. So it's funny. I was watching this. I don't even know where I saw this. I think it was just some random social media post, Twitter or Facebook. And the person was essentially saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the drivers did a charity event where they would play, F1 2023, the simulation PS5 game, and all proceeds went to charities. They can stream it. They can get quick sponsors. I feel like the timing would stop him from doing this, and I don't think every driver would participate, but I know that there's enough drivers that would, and I think that would be a really cool idea, especially since, they have nothing to do this weekend now. So we'll see what ends up happening. That said, there are some things that are happening here, right? So there are issues. There is fallout from this Grand Prix being canceled. Upgrades. Apparently a lot of teams were going to start upgrading this weekend. So in terms of timing of upgrades, what do you do? Right? F1, what are you doing? Well, are you going to cancel it? Are you going to reschedule it? Like, what's going on? A lot of teams, again, were looking to upgrade their engine and their gearboxes, and they're not going to be able to doing that here. There's obviously the cap implications of losing a whole race. There's sponsorship. How are you doing that? Because the commercials, right? The commercial impact of the F1 being canceled for a weekend is huge. I wonder how those contracts look like. As a fan, I'm more curious. I don't really care. This has nothing to do with me. It's not my money whatsoever. But, as someone who's always been interested on the business side of sports, it's something that I look forward to in a weird sense. All right. So I think in terms of sports, that's it. Let's quickly jump the page onto professional wrestling, and we're gonna be talking. You know what? Let's just kick things off. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk some Ring of Honor. If you listened to the show last week, you heard my rant about Ring of Honor, and it's gonna continue. And I might have to say this each and every single week, but just like I did last week, let me start this week's review by reading my Slam report, which you can find at slamwrestling.net. I gave this show 3 stars. Once again, if this show was an hour-long TV show with a focused card, it would be an incredible show. There is too much YouTube dark and elevation level matches that make the show drag on. The matches that do add to the overall stories are great, but everything else is 1992 superstars. That's how I feel about this show. Again, I'm going to quickly go through the card. I'm going to tell you whether it was worth your time or not. And the matches that are worth your time, you might as well watch them. So, the show kicks off with Willie Mack and Ninja Mack saying, hey, let's be partners. Cool. First match, Ray Fenix versus Gringo Loco. This is a watch. 100% watch this match. For those of you in the Toronto area, I'm sure you've seen Gringo Loco at Demand Lucha and other shows in the city. He predominantly does Demand Lucha shows. So if you're ever in the area, you ever see one of those Demand Lucha shows, come out. Always a fun time. Anyways, this match with Ray Fenix, must watch. Really fun match. Ray Fenix wins. So Fenix, Loco has Fenix on his shoulders. Fenix is fighting off. He ends up doing a poison Rana, and he does his rolling cutter, which he was trying for the entire match to do, and he finally got it after hitting a poison Rana, and that is how he picked up the win. All right. We get some pointless promos with the Wingmen, and the Wingmen consist of Peter Avalon and Ryan Nemeth. That's Peter Avalon and Ryan Nemeth, the Wingmen. That was a thing. Something I'm going to be looking forward to in 2 weeks. Katsuyori Shibata is announced to be on ROH TV, and he's going to be facing Alex Coughlin. That's going to be an incredible match. Really looking forward to that. Willow Nightingale versus Maddie Rankowski. You can skip that. Iron Savages, Boulder and Bronson with Jack Jameson. Maybe the greatest names in all of professional wrestling, or the worst. I don't know. You tell me. Versus the Wingmen, Peter Avalon and Ryan Nemeth. Yeah. You can skip this. The next match, Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal versus Cole Carter and Zach Clayton. You can skip this because this was that. Lady Frost versus Miranda Alize. Fun little match. Did some really good stuff in the little time that they were given, but you can skip it. Spanish Announce Project, Angelico and Serpentico with Luther versus Cheeseburger and Eli Ism. You can skip it. The next match was for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV title, as we saw Zack Sabre Jr., your champion, go up against AR Fox. This match was fun. Watch this match. This match was a lot of back and forth. Zack Sabre Jr. was trying to, get that body, that joint manipulation on AR Fox throughout the entire match. But AR Fox used the speed to always get out of it. Zack Sabre Jr. Hits AR Fox and puts him in a European clutch after Fox went for a 450 splash. This almost ended the match. Sabre then was in full control, kicking the shit out of Fox's legs. Sabre then locked in the Napalm Death submission, and Fox was forced to give up. So your winner and still New Japan World TV champion, Zack Sabre Jr. Here's probably one of the most intriguing parts. After the match, Dasha comes into the ring and interviews Zack Sabre Jr. Jr. said that he had the chance to make history as the first NJPW World TV champ. He declared himself the best champion and the most active TV champion in all of wrestling. Samoa Joe comes out, and he's not happy with what Sabre Jr. just said. He offers to fight Sabre right here, right now. But that's when Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels come out. Very interesting and very random. Daniels said he's done it all, but now it's time for Sydal to win some gold. After some back and forth, Sabre eventually challenges Daniels and Sydal to a tag team match with Joe as his partner, and if Sydal and Daniels win, Sydal is going to get a New Japan World TV title chance. Very cool stuff there. The Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, with Prince Nana in their corner versus Dalton Castle and Boy Brandon. You can skip this. Shane Taylor and the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake versus Midnight Heat, Eddie Pearl, Ricky Gibson, and Shafe. You can skip this. Ashley D'Amboise versus Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez looked good, but you can skip this. This brings us to the main event, the Fight Without Honor. It was Action Andretti and Darius Martin, who have been teaming up quite a bit here, versus the Kingdom's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett with Maria Kanellis-Bennett in their corner. This match was fun. Another match that you should watch. Tons of back and forth. You know, it's your typical plunder match. It was a lot of fun, and you should really go out of your way to watch this. After a lot of action, Andretti and Martin are at ringside. Maria, with a pipe to Martin, holds him as Bennett chops the living daylights out of him. Bennett then goes for a forearm, but Martin moves out of the way, clobbers Maria. Martin and Andretti are now back in the match. They smack Taven down on a chair that was already in the ring. They hit Bennett with a doomsday device off of a ladder, and they get the win. After the match, the Kingdom were slow to get up. They offer the handshake to Martin and Andretti, and the code of honor was adhered to end the show. Pretty fun match. So, out of 11 matches and about 14 segments, you should watch three matches and 3 backstage segments. The one segment that I did skip was The Righteous, where again Vincent is teasing Stu Grayson to join The Righteous. Stu Grayson still has his lineage to the Dark Order, but you see that he's thinking about it right now. So 3 matches and 3 segments is all you should watch out of this 11-match show. And let me tell you this. 3 matches and 3 segments would equal the same amount of wrestling TV time as the old 1-hour RH shows that you would catch on WUTV or whatever your St. Clair broadcasting station was, right? So, come on. Let's move away from these 11 match cards and just give me the meat and potatoes. Give me the meat and potatoes, and I will be one happy camper with this incarnation of Ring of Honor. So that was Ring of Honor earlier tonight. Let's jump to Impact Wrestling from earlier tonight. So this one was a pretty good show. They've been having some excellent in-ring. We also saw Trinity's in-ring debut in Impact earlier in the night. So let's get to the show. We saw Trey Miguel versus Laredo Kid. Trey Miguel ends up winning this. Trey Miguel was, he's a heel now. He's doing nasty stuff. Trey Miguel takes the mask off of Laredo Kid, leaves him very desperate. Trey Miguel does a roll-up, gets a win. Very cool. Very, very cool. Chris Sabin then comes out and confronts Trey Miguel. Sabin essentially says that he wants to be a 9-time X Division champion. So he puts down the challenge. Sami Callihan and Rich Swann, they have a sit-down interview. Tons of back and they're teaming up at Under Siege next Friday in London, Ontario. That's a Impact Plus special. This was pretty good. The next match was Ace Austin with Chris Bay in his corner versus Jason Hodge with John Schuyler and Brian Myers in his corner. Jason Hodge wins this match. What ends up happening in this match was Hodge and Austin are going back and forth. They're exchanging moves back and forth and doing a bunch of pin attempts. Hodge pushed the free from... he pushed him from a roll-up, sending Austin too close to the ropes, where he was sucker punched by Myers behind the referee's back. Austin fell backwards into another roll-up by Hodge, and that was it. So Jason Hodge wins this match. We get some Steve Maclin stuff. Steve Maclin's being Steve Maclin. They're really trying to build him up as a strong, give no shit, all attitude champion. Seeing some pretty good stuff from Steve Maclin. We see Gia Miller interviewing Jordan Grace. Gia said that Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo looked a bit shaken up when they collided during last week's tag team match. She asked Grace if that's going to give her an edge when she challenges Purrazzo at Under Siege. Grace says that she wants Deonna to be at 100%. When they meet, so there's going to be no excuses when she beats Peraza for the belt. Alicia Edwards barged in and accused Grace of doing it to Peraza on purpose. Grace threatened to beat up Alicia, and that was that. The next match was the in-ring debut of Trinity, and she faced Kylan King with Taylor Wilde in her corner. Trinity gets a nice... so Trinity hits King with a V-trigger. She then transitioned into a submission move that Trinity is calling a Starstruck. It's I don't know how to describe this. It's kind of like a she locks. It's kind of like a weird Rings of Saturn type of move. I think that would be the best description of it. It's not the Rings of Saturn, but it's kind of like it. I like it. It's a good little move. King had to tap out. So that was that. After the match, Jai Vidal came out to the ring and told Trinity that Giselle Shaw has accepted Trinity's open challenge for a match at Under Siege. Jai tried to sucker slap Trinity, but she caught his arm, hit him with a crescent kick to the head. We had Jody Threat versus Sierra. Jody Threat wins this match, and this was a squash match of the week. The main event was Moose, Frankie Kazarian, and Eddie Edwards versus Alex Shelley, Jonathan Gresham, and Yuya Uemura. Shelley, Uemura, and Gresham end up winning. This was pretty good. This was a fun little match. And again, just building up to where we are going with Under Siege. Under Siege is next Friday in London, Ontario. So on next Thursday's show, Matt and I are going to be doing the full Under Siege preview. Just as a reminder, the main event of Under Siege is going to be PCO taking on Steve Macklin in a no-holds-barred match. That's going to be fun. All right. Just starting to get a little tired here, man. All right, moving on to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm going to be focusing on the matches, on the actual block matches. So we'll be going through kind of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nights. And I'll try to just kind of summarize what matches you should watch. Clark Connors with Gato ends up beating Kevin a Knight. This was a B block match. It went about 9 minutes, 26 seconds. I thought that this match was well done. I like that Clark Connors got that early win. We had Taiji Ishimori beating Ryusuke Taguchi. Again, no surprise. This is exactly how things should have been. You could skip this match. It went only 3 minutes, 54 seconds. In another B block match, you had Dan Maloney versus Bushi. This went 7 minutes, 14 seconds. I think that this was fun, but skippable. In another fun but skippable match, you had Dookie beating Kushida in an A block match. This is crazy. This is really crazy. I thought that Kushida, maybe they're doing that thing where Kushida takes a while to heat up. But in these tournaments, you don't have a lot of room to do that, right? You can't get too many losses. But Kushida with the first loss, this match went about 8 minutes, 31 seconds. This was pretty cool. All right. Master Wato beat Francisco Akira, someone who I still think is going to go far in this tournament. This was a B block match. Skippable, 7 minutes, 19 seconds. Leo Rush got the 2 points as he defeated Sho in an A block match in 4 minutes, 14 seconds. Not much to this match. Robbie Eagles defeated Yo in a B block match in about 13 minutes, 6 seconds. Tons of reversals in this match. This match was, at about the 10-minute mark, Yo hits a Falcon Arrow for such a close pinfall. Eagles then hits a series of kicks and a mid-ring sliced bread, number 2. And for another super close near fall, Eagles then nails a top rope 450 splash. They trade some more roll-ups. Eagles hit another drop kick on the knee, then a springboard drop kick onto the knee. Eagles hit a Shining Wizard for the pin. This was honestly match of the night so far. Titan beats TJP in an A block match in 11 minutes, 13 seconds. This was pretty fun, but I still think that Eagles and Yo had a better match. We had Kanemaru beating El Desperado in about 14 minutes, 6 seconds. Okay match. But then the match that each and every single person needs to watch from night 1 of the Best of the Super Juniors 30. Mike Bailey defeats, you read that right? You heard that right. Defeats Hiromu Takahashi in an A block match in 16 minutes, 39 seconds. Wow. Just wow. Honestly, match of the year contender. Probably not like number 1, but top 5 possibly. You can talk me into adding this into the top 5 list. All right. Night 2 of the Best of the Super Juniors. So TJP defeated Kushida. This match was actually pretty good. So again, Kushida was 0 points at this point, right? So what are they doing with Kushida? Kanemaru beats Dan Maloney. Leo Rush beats Taguchi. No surprise there. Robbie Eagles defeated Clark Connors in 5 minutes, 56 seconds. This was an okay match. A very, very fun match here. Mike Bailey gets his second win to go up to 4 points, defeating Sho in an A block match, 13 minutes, 20 seconds. This match was a lot of fun. Mike Bailey versus Sho. Go out and watch this match. Francisco Akira defeats Kevin Knight. Taiji Ishimori defeated Titan in an A block match. Okay match overall. El Desperado defeated Bushi in a B block match in 8 minutes 51 seconds. Another match that you should watch outside of the Mike Bailey match from this night was Takahashi versus Dookie, where Takahashi finally comes back from the previous night, gets his big W to pick up the 2 points, put himself on the board. This was a fun match. So 2 matches that you should watch from this night. That's Takahashi versus Dookie, and the previous match was Mike Bailey versus Sho. Yo defeats Master Wato in 18 minutes, 12 seconds. Good match, but I still think the previously mentioned matches are the ones that you should watch. Overall, this show was okay. Let's go to night 3 of the Best of the Super Juniors from May 14th. All right, Kevin Knight defeated Kanemaru. Kanemaru first loss in B block. This match was okay. Sho defeated Taguchi. Another okay match. Clark Connors defeated Bushi. Taiji Ishimori defeated Dookie. Francisco Akira defeated Robbie Eagles in 12 minutes, 2 seconds. This is a match of night 3 that you should watch. That's Francisco Akira defeating Robbie Eagles. Really good. Really good. I think that this was probably, in all seriousness, up to this point, just remember, up to this point, the best match behind Hiromu Bailey. Titan defeated Kushida. Kushida now 3 losses. 0 points in 3 nights. Kushida, what's wrong with you? Dan Maloney defeated Yo. Mike Bailey defeated TJ Perkins in an incredible match. Incredible match. Mike Bailey, 6 points at this point. El Desperado defeated Master Wato in an okay match. Leo Rush defeated Hiromu Takahashi, your champion now, with 2 losses in 3 nights. What's going on? Kushida, 0 points. Takahashi, only 2 points. Leo Rush, perfect score. Mike Bailey, perfect score. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff that's going on here. The best of the Super Juniors. Night 2, again, was this night, though. Night 3 was really well done. Let's move on to the next night. Night 4, May 16th. We had Yo defeating Clark Connors. Titan defeated defeating Taguchi. Robbie Eagles defeating Bushi. TJP defeating Dookie. We had Francisco Akira beating Dan Maloney. Kushida finally getting that win against Speedball Mike Bailey. So Kushida gets his first win on night 4. Mike Bailey gets his first loss on night 4. Incredible storytelling here. Really good stuff. This is the match of the night, in my opinion. You should all freaking watch this. So good stuff here. El Desperado defeated Kevin Knight. Hiromu Takahashi defeated Sho. Master Watu defeated Kanemaru. And Lio Rush defeated Taiji Ishimori in the main event to stay 4-0. Really good stuff here. Really good stuff. All right, let's move on to the next night, May 17th. We have Hiromu Takahashi defeating Taguchi. So, yeah, Hiromu finally getting more points at this point. The champ getting it. Kevin Knight defeating Bushi. TJP defeating Sho. Clark Connors defeating Francisco Akira in a very fun match. Dookie defeating Lio Rush. Robbie Eagles defeating Kanemaru. Mike Bailey defeating Titan. So this one was very weird, very cool, man. You know, Titan at this point is 3-1. Mike Bailey, this is so cool, man. This is so cool how the build up in this match. Very fun stuff here. Again, Mike Bailey, Titan, match of the night, in my opinion. Master Wato defeated Dan Maloney. Taiji Ishimori defeats Kushida. So Kushida's back on that losing streak after getting his first tournament win. He's back on a losing streak on this night. Yo defeats El Desperado. And that was that. Really, this night had watchable matches, but the only match that you should absolutely go out of your way to watch in this night was the Mike Bailey match as he beat Titan. So we're going to jump to May 18th. This was Thursday morning, the latest match or the latest card. Let me make one comment about this. This is what I'm really liking about this. There is no undercard right now. They're really just doing the best of the Super Junior matches. So the shows can be a little long. You know, they're not like 4 or 5 hours long, but having cards to watch each and every single night can be a little tiring. So let's do this. We have Mike Bailey with 10 points defeating Dookie in an A block match. Bushi defeating Kanemaru. This match was just useless. TJP defeated Taguchi, who's still at 0 points. You had Kevin Knight defeating Dan Maloney. Sho defeating Ishimori. El Desperado defeating Clark Connors in 12 minutes, 24 seconds. This was a very fun match. This match could have ended in DQ a few times. You know, El Desperado being El Desperado. Some would say he was very desperado. Thank you. No, this match was interesting. Titan defeats Lio Rush. Crazy. This is really crazy stuff that's going on here. But I like the story that they're telling with Lio Rush at this point, because now Lio Rush kind of had, wouldn't say impossible matches, but very winnable matches. But now he's entering a hard streak starting Friday morning as he goes on to face Kushida. Yo defeats Francisco Akira. Hiromu Takahashi defeats Kushida. Kushida only has 2 points. Kushida's only win in the tournament at this point is against Speedball Mike Bailey, who just so happens to only have that one loss. Crazy stuff happening here in the Best of Super Juniors, and I love because it's like if you're watching the tournament, you'll remember who beat who at times, and it's like, oh, it's interesting that Kushida, the only person he beat is Speedball Mike Bailey, who only has one loss, and it was against Kushida at this point. And I wonder what story they're telling about Kushida. What's interesting about this match is that Takahashi actually beat Kushida via countout. Let's see what's going on there. Master Wato defeats Robbie Eagles in the main event in an okay match. This was fun. This was a fun match overall. So Kushida Hiromu, in my opinion, was the match of the night. Even though we had that count out, it is what it is. But it had that big match feel for the card. So let's go through the roundup before we go. A block. Mike Bailey is the leader with a 5-1 record with 10 points. Leo Rush, TJP, Titan, Hiromu Takahashi, and Ishimori are right behind Bailey with 8 points. I think that Leo Rush is going to beat Bailey in the final night of block action, with Bailey and Leo advancing to the final four. And just remember that they both have wins over Hiromu in this tournament. So the story that they're going to likely be saying is, look, Bailey and Rush deserve a title shot against Hiromu Takahashi because we beat him. That's the A block. So many storylines coming out of this A block right now. Let's talk about the B block before we call it a night here on BAM. The B block, Master Wato winning the main event on Thursday. We have a 4-way tie. Wato, Eagles, Desperado, and Yo. They're all at 4-2 with 8 points. And then there's a bunch of people. B block, where everything is going on. So the next card is going to happen on Friday morning before Saturday's day off. So next week, we're going to be inching closer and closer to the finals. I'm not sure if we're going to be at the point or just before the end of the block action. We'll talk about that on the post-credit scene or next week's BAM. So yeah, man, tons of great story, tons of great action happening here. Again, just like I want to give people the results and tell people what matches they should go out and watch. I'm not going to go blow by blow because there's just so many freaking matches right now to cover. So yeah, I'm just trying to give people a summary. But again, let us know what you want to hear from us, who you want to hear us talk about, what promotions you want to hear us talk about, because that's what Matt and I do. This show is the catch-all show. So we try to, because we record on Thursday nights now, we're going to try to talk about ROH. We're going to try to talk about Impact Wrestling. And then for everything else, right? It's like, what we like. But if there's anything in particular that you want us to watch, that you want us to cover, that you want us to review, that you want us to suffer through, always let us know. Because that's, again, like I said, this show is for all of you, especially as patrons on the SNME side. So that is it here on BAM Weekly, the show where we chat about some sports, the show where we chat about some entertainment, and then in the end, we bring it all together to chat about some sports entertainment. Thank you for tolerating these solo shows, but, as we head into the summer, especially as we head into a super busy week like we have next week, I think Matt has some well-deserved time off, and I hope that he is getting the rest. So, on behalf of everyone here on Sunday Night's Main Event, just remember to leave it locked in here because we have so many more shows to get to. This week alone, we have do we have MLW Rewind? I'm not sure, actually. But I know that Fusion is starting up very, very soon. I believe that starts up again next week. What else do we got? We got the Smack Daddies chatting all things SmackDown. We have the Rampage Ramble, I believe, coming this week. It depends when they air. It honestly depends when they air. When they're on Saturdays, it's a lot more difficult for us to record because Dick Xavier has his own show commitments to do on Sundays. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. And Reminder, we are going to be talking about Collision and who's going to be covering Collision from the SNMA team. So that's going to be coming up very soon. We have the main flagship show, which is happening this Sunday afternoon. Again, it's going to be a tribute show to superstar Billy Graham. May he rest in peace. Then we start things up all over again after the pop culture shows, after the Godfathers of podcasting, and all the other shows that come out on the pop culture side. We have the Raw review, the Draw review with, well, you'll see. I know who it is, but I'm not going to spoil it. The WWE 2K23 match should be out by Friday afternoon. So go out and watch that to see who from the SNME crew is going to be reviewing Raw. We have Steve Swift talking all things NXT. And we do this all over again with Matt doing the AEW 3D, with Matt and I doing BAM. So much wrestling. SNME.com. Patreon.com/SNME Radio. Again, thank you so much for tolerating these solo episodes. On behalf of everyone here at SNME, just remember, stay tranquilo.